Hey, everybody. Welcome once again to a magnificent Monday. Welcome to Miss G's Ladies Lounge. I am your host, Gwen Finley, Miss G. That's me. I'm so excited to be here once again on another magnificent Monday. We are really just doing so many great interviews on this month, and I'm already excited about my next guest, and I'm excited that you are here with me. I'm excited that you have taken this time out to be here with us on this evening. So I hope that you will take a moment to like, tag, share, tell somebody that Miss G's Ladies Lounge is on the air. We're live, we're popping, and we're getting ready to have a great lounge chat that you don't want to miss, and you don't want your best friend to miss it either. So go ahead and hit that share button. Let everyone know that we are live. Listen, again, I'm Gwen, Miss G Finley. I am your host. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. So I love just coming and giving an opportunity for others to have a platform to be able to share their stories, share their expertise, share their gifts and their talents, just to be able to share some information that would be helpful, especially to women that are visionaries, entrepreneurs, ministry leaders, or business leaders. There's so many things that we can learn from each other, whether we are at the top level or at the starting level. There's so much that we can learn from each other. And so I love to be able to share with my audience the guests that I have come in contact with, or maybe that I just don't even know, but I see and I've watched and I've just seen the things that they do and how great they are in what they're doing. So on tonight, I have another wonderful guest who is joining me. Last week was fire. I want y'all to come with the same energy this week. Make sure that you hit that chat and you let us know how you're enjoying the conversation. Make sure to join in the chat. We like to have interactive chat. So make sure that you join in with us. Let us know that you're here, that you're watching. Make yourself accountable, as they say. Let us know you're here. All right. So listen, my guest on tonight is Elder. I was supposed to be telling y'all about myself, right? I didn't really go there. But anyway, I am a visionary startup coach. So I work with some amazing individuals who would like to share their vision with the world, and they're trying to figure out how to get it from their heads and get it out into reality. So I love being able to help people figure those things out. Sometimes it's a little hard to understand how to move that dream and that vision and to get it started. So I'm here to just help you get started. I may not take you to the top, to the last moment of your dream, but I'll certainly help you get started because somebody helped me get started. And so that's what I want to help you do. And once you get started, I believe you won't be able to stop. So listen, let's talk about my guest on tonight. I have with me Elder Tara Culton, and she is an amazing speaker, author, clergywoman, a mother, a Grammy girl to her granddaughter, and she is also a suicide attempt survivor. Make sure you catch that. A suicide attempt survivor. She utilizes her voice to advocate for mental health wellness, mental illness awareness, and the importance of rebuilding, not shifting, one's mindset. She lives by her mantra, mental health illness is it's a disease but not a shame. Tara aims to challenge misconceptions about mental health conditions, especially within the faith community, and to outlive the lie that individuals with mental health conditions are unfit for ministry or life endeavors. That's good right there. She is a trained peer recovery specialist who has lived experience with mental health conditions and uses that experience to help others on their mental health journey. She assists people in identifying the current challenge and then helping them recognize resources that will support their recovery. As an emotional CPR educator or an eCPR, she helps people in emotional crisis. Now, the CPR, we're going to talk about what that stands for just a little bit later. Tara is also a NAMI, a National Alliance on Mental Illness state trainer, where she trains the trainers. All right, she's not just doing this, she out here training others to do it too. She is an IOOV in our own voice presenter, a presentation where she and a co presenter talk about what happened, what helps, and what is next for those on their mental health recovery journey. She is also a peer to peer course educator. Peer to peer provides education about mental health, health illness, resources, tools, and strategies. And she is a connection recovery support group leader. I want to just get to this last little part here, and it says that Tara does this mental health work via T Talks with Talks with T, making mental health and wellness make sense. TWT. Talks with T aims to support, educate, and advocate for those with mental health conditions or those affected by mental health conditions by providing activities, events, aid, and more. Now, on top of that, Tara is also the creator of Virtual Solutions with TLC, and she helps female faith based service focused entrepreneurs by offering copywriting, graphic design, email automation, author support, coaching, and other services. Listen, this is an all around young lady, and I'm so happy to have her on my show with me tonight. We're going to get into a lot of these areas that we talked about in her bio. And so, won't you help me take a moment and just, if you haven't done so, hit that like, tag, share button. And let's bring in my guest. I'm so excited that she is here to join me on tonight. Hello, hello.
How you doing, Gwen? How you doing?
I'm doing just wonderful, doing just wonderful. So glad to have you here on tonight. How do you feel?
I am so excited to be here with you. It really is an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Oh,
So yeah,
awesome.
thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Listen, I know the folks are ready. No one has told us that they're here yet, but I see they're here. I see they're here. We got a few people I know in the studio. So, okay, some have
Okay.
popped in. Good evening, Helen. Good evening from New York, and more from New York. Good evening, Cookie, New York in the house. Um, and so, listen, we're going to get started. I want to just ask you to just let us know a little bit about yourself before we even get started. I know I gave you a bio. Tell us about the real. Now that's the business woman. Tell us
Yeah.
about the real Tara, the underneath that nobody really knows about.
I do live with mental health conditions, so I have lived experience of that. The part about being Gammy Girl to my 4-year-old
Mm-hmm.
granddaughter. A funny story. People ask you, well, what are you going to call the baby? What are you going to call the baby? Well, she was ruffle butt before she got here. Um, I'm, I'm 62, so remember when the little girls had the little rubber pants and they had the little ruffles
Yes,
on the bottom? So I was
absolutely.
going to call her ruffle butt. So she got here, and I was like, "Oh, this is my baby girl." Da, 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 and you're going to be Gammy's girl. She was just a little
Mm,
infant. And
right.
one day, when she started talking, she says, "No, Gammy girl, I'm your baby girl.
Oh
You're
wow.
Gammy girl." So that's how I became
Oh,
Gammy girl. Yeah, and she
okay.
was she
Okay.
was over here yesterday for a little time, and she was like, "Grammy girl, Grammy girl." I mean, she says it so fast; it's just so cute, warms my heart. The thing
Hmm.
that people don't know about me is that I'm actually an introvert and I'm a nerd.
Oh wow.
I am a nerd. I love documentaries. I love stuff that says how you get stuff done. Um,
Hmm.
I am a real introvert. My roommate can tell you that. It's okay if I don't come out the house for a week. I mean, we're talking about not even go to the mailbox. And
Wow.
that's not depression. That's not a mental illness. That's just my
Right.
personality. And when I
Absolutely.
get overstimulated, what happens with me is that I can go out and do what I need to do, but I've got to come back to recharge.
Hmm.
I know
Right.
some people that are called ambiverts. And the other thing, I don't know, I've said this so much, but maybe people do know, is that I'm a crab leg kind of girl. Woo!
Oh, listen,
Baba!
listen, listen. I had some Sunday, and it was some kind
Oh,
of good.
oh, oh, be still my heart.
I'll tell you the little spot later.
Okay, all right, all righty.
Yes, yes, yes. So that's so awesome. It's good to have some things in life that help you to, wind down and enjoy life. And so that's
Absolutely.
just awesome because we can talk about the businesswoman all day, but underneath that businesswoman, you've got to have some, outlets to help you to
Absolutely.
live and sustain. And that's
Ah,
exactly what we're talking about on tonight. And our subject on tonight we're gonna hit a lot of those points because it's interesting how people will take their life and they run all of their life trying to do so much that they forget to take care of themselves. They forget I'm a real person that
mhm.
needs some real
Absolutely.
TLC and needs some real care and time to myself.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so we're a little excited tonight that we're going to actually talk about um, some of these things.
Mhm.
And listening to your bio, it's very interesting some of the things that you've done and how you've taken even the simplest things that people struggle with every day and how you've turned it into a real passion, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
even and not only that you turned it into a passion and that you've taken what other people deal with, but that you've also experienced, as you said, it's a lived experience. Now, I've never heard anyone use that term before, but it's really awesome, a lived experience. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that. I love that. So let's
Mhm.
get into questions. What is a quick definition of mental health and mental health wellness is what I really want to hear about.
Well, mental health involves anything that deals with the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you behave. In other words, um, I could be thinking that, oh my God, Gwen thinks that my background is horrible. She thinks the dog's running behind the cat. And folks, we all know there are no dogs running behind the cat, but I use that a lot as an analogy. Oh my God, she da 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 da. So then I begin to feel shame. I begin to feel whatever. So that's the way. That's the way I thought about it. That's the way I feel about it. So now I'm going to behave some kind of way. Well, chances are, and that's a very, very simplified definition, by the way, but
Right.
the definition that SAMHSA gives, which they really, really delve into exactly what it is. But
Mhm.
what they give as the definition, which is just, which by the way, SAMHSA, SAMHSA, which is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. And their
Mhm.
definition really says that, and I'm going to read it directly from their website. Mental health
Mhm.
includes our emotional, psychological, and social well being. It affects how we think, feel, and act, and helps determine
Mhm.
how we handle stress, relate to others, and how we make choices. And when we talk about mental wellness, what we want to think about is what helps us maintain that state of well-being, what helps us stay in tune with ourselves, what keeps our, what I like to call, what keeps us having a positive mental health status. Most of the time we are aware when we're not feeling our best mentally. We are aware,
Mhm.
we may not acknowledge it, but I say quite often, for those who know me and those who follow me, we are the experts of ourselves. We know ourselves. We may not want to admit it, but we do know
Mhm.
ourselves. So that's the
Mhm.
definition of mental health, and then mental wellness.
Oh, okay. Listen, that's short, sweet, and to the point. Now, how do you think that women who are so focused on their business, after coming home from work, a long day at work, taking care of the household and working on their own vision, can find that space of mental health and wellness?
I think the first off is that we talk about them coming home before they even leave the house. Take some time
Mm.
for themselves. Take some time when you
Ah.
wake up in the morning, before your feet hit the floor, if you can. And I know this
Mhm.
is not, everyone can't do this in this order, but if you can, or at least
Mhm.
before you go to bed, but preferably at the beginning of your day, after you, for those that do devotionals and those that study in the morning, take that time to really dig in and center yourself and find out, how am I feeling today? What are my
Right.
thoughts in
Right.
this moment? And then based on
Mhm.
what that is, you can set your intention for that day so that you maintain a mental health
Mhm.
status. Let me give you an example. I had to get up. I didn't go to bed until about 2 o'clock this morning because I was on a call with someone. And that's what
Mhm.
I signed up for when I said I will help people. So when people call,
Right.
those that have my personal number, when they call,
Mhm.
I'm there. I knew I had to get up at 5 o'clock. When the alarm went off, I thought, ugh, I don't want to do this. So
Right.
immediately I was like, ugh, let me get in the shower. I said, ho, 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 ho. You are going to the doctor, but you do have use of your limbs. No matter how limited they may be
Mhm.
today, you do have use of your limbs. Okay, how can we turn the situation around? So you set your intention for that day. And then when you
Mhm.
come home, take a moment for yourself. I don't care if that moment is you drive to the local Walmart parking lot and you sit in that
Right.
car, or you pull up and you sit in that car
Right.
so you can decompress. Because
Mhm.
we often, well, I was going to use a term that's used in the African American community, and I realize our audience may be anybody all over the world,
Mhm.
but you,
Right.
you have had to act and behave a certain way on your job.
Mhm.
So now,
Mhm.
remember who you are at all times authentically. There's a way,
Absolutely.
I tell people, I can go in and do what I need to do, be very professional about it, but I can also be
Mhm.
authentic about it. So if we maintain, the question is, how can they do that? How can they decompress? I'm paraphrasing. Let's decompress
Mhm.
before we even compress. If does that make
Wow.
sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's something that I was telling a friend of mine, we have been working so hard on a
Mhm.
project,
Uh-huh.
and every day was just busy, and the closer we got to the project, every day was just busy, busy. It seemed like we didn't have any time for ourselves. And I had started
Mm,
my day with a specific person who does, like a online prayer, morning
okay.
glory prayer, whatever. And I had started letting that play in my house, as I was getting ready for work. And I'll tell
Mm-hmm.
you, it made a big difference
See?
because, just getting that into my spirit, changing the thoughts in my head, like you said, from, oh my God, I got to go to work, to hearing those great words of strength and courage and,
Absolutely.
joy and all of that. It made
Yeah.
a big difference in my life. So that makes perfect sense. And that's absolutely wonderful. That's absolutely
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Yes. Now, what are the dangers of people not working on their mental health wellness?
I can tell you the danger is not only for them, it's for all of us, Gwen.
Mm-hmm.
It's for all of us. Because
Mm-hmm.
when one of us does not take care, make a concerted effort to take care of our mental wellness, then how they behave, how they view the world, how they interact with us and themselves is
Mm-hmm.
can be negatively impacted if they are not in that positive mental health status. If
Mm-hmm.
you know someone, like I have lived experience, or anybody in my inner circle, they are impacted by everything I do,
Mm-hmm.
everything I do, because the reality is we really are all connected. We
Right.
really are all connected. So the danger of someone not taking care of their mental health status, not making sure that, for me, I see my therapist once a week usually, unless
Mm-hmm.
scheduling doesn't permit it. I make
Mm-hmm.
sure everybody knows that on Tuesday at 10 where I'm going to be, either online or in person. That, and I make
Right.
no bones about it. I mean, because I can have Jesus in
Absolutely.
therapy too.
I know that's right.
They can be partners. You
I
understand?
know that's
Um,
right. And especially if you get a Jesus therapist.
whoop, shut up. You know, but yeah, it is important that we take control of that. The title is, how do we control our mental health and wellness in challenging
Mm-hmm.
times? And one of
Mm-hmm.
those things is to really get rid of the learned helplessness. That is also a
Mm-hmm.
danger that can
Mm-hmm.
happen, that we begin to be helpless, whether we've been
Mm-hmm.
diagnosed with a mental health condition or not. Some people use the term mental illness, some people use the term mental health conditions. They are interchangeable to me. And by the way, this week happens to be Mental Illness
Oh,
Awareness Week.
okay.
Mental
Okay.
illness aware, because we have May for mental
Right.
health
Health
awareness, and
awareness.
then
Okay.
we have July. Is it July or June? Yeah, we have July as Minority Mental Health Month. And
Mm.
you can think of mental illness in this way, and I'll tie this into the end of answering your question, is that
Sure.
your foundation is your mental health.
Mhm.
Mental illness is a crack in that foundation.
Mm.
Does that
Okay.
make sense? Like
Yes,
you've got
absolutely.
that foundation, and then there are
Mhm.
cracks. Sometimes the cracks are seen, sometimes they're not seen. Sometimes they're obvious, sometimes they're not so obvious. In my case, I was a highly functioning person living with depression, anxiety, and some other diagnoses. Very high fun. Nobody would know unless I told you. Well,
Mm.
unless you also were a licensed clinical therapist
Right.
and you could see the signs and symptoms. But other than
Yeah.
that, I was very high functioning until I
Mhm.
wasn't. So the
Mhm.
danger of not taking care of my mental health
Mhm.
meant that I now not only impacted myself, I impacted my employer, I impacted the other
Mhm.
employees, because now they had to step in and do the work I could not do because I wasn't there. I physically wasn't there, and on some days my physical body was there, but my uh, spirit was not there. So
Mhm.
those are some of the dangers. The danger is that you can keep going so long without taking care of your mental health that you can't come back the way you would
Mhm.
want to. That doesn't mean you can't recover. Recovery is
Mhm.
always possible. It's that it may not look like you want it to look. For instance,
Absolutely.
for me, I never went back to my job once I left that job on that day. and went to
Mhm.
the hospital, I never went back to that job.
Mhm.
However, for me, I've got ordered footsteps. Hey, God,
Right. I know
what
that's right.
I have a much richer life now. I help other
Mhm.
people. I train the people that train the people how to go out and do this.
Mhm.
So my life is much richer. I could not have imagined the life I live now and how much richer, not necessarily, excuse me, I'm not talking about finances, excuse me. I'm
Right.
talking
Yeah.
paychecks of the heart.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking
Absolutely.
about. So that is
Mhm.
the danger of people not taking care of that. Did that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, I am a nurse and I work in a doctor's office. And I'll tell you, and I had this conversation with one of our patients today because, you know, they said to me, "Oh, why are they doing this?" When you come into these doctor's offices now, the
Mm-hmm.
first question, have you experienced over the last 2 weeks any signs and symptoms of depression? It's so prevalent in this world right now.
It is.
But a lot of times people don't see that it's an issue or what type of issue it is. And so a gentleman came in today, and
Mm-hmm.
what we do is if they answer no, we ask them two simple questions. If they answer no, we just do a simple little okay check off.
Mm-hmm.
If they answer yes to any one of those questions, those two questions, it
Yeah.
opens up, a whole lot of questions. So when I gave him the form to fill out, so that they can read through and make their own, put their own answers down, I gave him the form, and he just
Uh-huh.
kept saying, "Oh, oh," and he kept saying, and I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "This all makes sense right now." Sometimes you don't realize some of the things that you are dealing with is not because you're too sleepy. It's not because you have too much energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's sometimes a form of depression. And we don't like to label things like you said, but if you don't label it, you know, even
That's it.
things that you put in your refrigerator, just keep putting a bunch of stuff in your refrigerator. Don't label some stuff, and they all look alike. You don't know what it is.
You
You don't
don't
know
know
when
what it
you
is.
put it there and how old it is.
That's
So
right.
some things you have to label,
That's it.
and in order to deal with it and to overcome it, or get it a handle on it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I love that. I love that you're explaining the difference also between the mental health and mental illness.
Yes.
That's a wonderful thing. So
Thank
so now you, in your bio, you are a peer recovery specialist. So what does that mean?
That means, first off, that I have lived experience of mental health conditions or mental illness, if some would want to use that terminology, and that I am far enough along in my own personal recovery journey that I can
Mhm,
now reach out my hand and bring
mhm,
somebody else to where I am. That
mhm,
means that I get the privilege of helping people, like literally. We stopped the class at 7:48, something like
mhm.
that, and then I
Right.
hopped in here with you. I just got through teaching a NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness class called Peer to Peer. Sorry about that,
Mhm.
y'all. I
No.
dropped time. Um, but yeah, I just literally I taught that class from 6. Well, I logged on at 5:30, and the class started at
Mhm,
6, and we ended. It's normally 6 to 8, but I told them I've got something else to do that I committed to doing, and now I get to pour back into other people. I get to
mhm,
let them see that having a mental health condition diagnosis is not the end of the world. It's
mhm,
not the end of the world. You can go on and live a full and rich life. It's highly possible. I get the privilege of sitting with someone in some of their darkest times and letting them know it's okay without trying to give them advice. Now, this is the
mhm,
way I put it, and this is again very simplified. A therapist has to know this much. I have to know this much. I have to
mhm.
be able to know, oh, I need to refer you on to a therapist. I have
Right.
to be able to know the difference between whether you are suicidal or whether you're having suicide ideation. Suicide
Right.
ideation means that I'm just thinking about it.
Mhm.
Suicidal means you got a plan. You know what
Plan.
you're going to do, when you're going to do it, how
Mhm.
you're going to do it, where you're going to
All
do
the
it. You got to,
devices.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've heard people say, well, they're suicidal. Let me listen closely. I can
Right.
tell you that even how that shows up with the work I do as a um, executive virtual professional, as I call myself. Well, actually, somebody else started calling me that. That shows up when I'm listening to my clients. Often I
Mhm.
can hear the stress in their voice.
Right.
Often I can hear when they are really, 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 really anxious and it's over the top. I don't say anything about that. I
Mhm.
just know it's there. So that allows me the opportunity to initiate for them some coping skills. Now, we are not talking about manipulation. We're not talking about trying to control them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying my ear is trained. You know how the
Mhm.
kingdom of heaven has a sound, and we
Absolutely.
know the sound of the Lord for us. My ear
Mhm.
is trained that when you start saying certain things, I'm gonna perk
Mhm.
up like, oh,
Absolutely.
what? Okay.
Absolutely.
Without
Yeah.
doing any of that, I can just be sitting there, okay, all right.
Mhm.
But then
Yeah.
I'm now aware, okay, now I'm going to interact with you differently because my job is to reduce your stress. My job is not to
Mhm.
put more stress on you. My job is to help you get to that goal
Right.
without any damage whatsoever. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's it.
Awesome. And so that's what we were going to talk about a little bit later. You know that you're a virtual assistant or virtual professional, as you said. All right. So and that helps you to help others relieve that stress, and that works. Tell me how that really works in the mental health arena. You know, I know you just gave us a little bit of it, but you know,
Mhm.
as a virtual assistant, what do you actually do for people?
Oh, as a virtual assistant, I help you. I do author support. So that will
Mhm.
be in the industry, it's called an author assistant, actually. And what I
Mhm.
do, I take your manuscript and I look at it. There are various kinds of editing in the editing world.
Mhm.
A lot of people
Mhm.
don't realize that. They think, well, I just need somebody to edit my book, which means
Mhm.
I need somebody to go through and proofread. Proofreading is a type, quote unquote,
Right.
of editing, but you also have developmental editing. You have line by line editing. You all kind of different editing. But I take
Mhm.
it whatever stage you're in. I'm going to ask you,
Mhm.
what do you want me to do with this? I have
Right.
a client now that he is definitely in the developmental stage, and I have
Mhm.
to constantly say to him that you got that. When I say constantly, I don't want to. Let me retract
No
that.
problem.
I
Mhm.
encourage him. I
Right.
encourage just right. Don't think it through. Just right. I also do copywriting for people, sans
Mhm.
AI, without
Mhm.
AI. And I do
Mhm.
copywriting for people where I use some AI for idea generation. Because what we have
Mhm.
to do with AI is just, make sure just dot all the I's, cross all
Right.
the T's. That's what we have
Yeah.
to do. I do
So
that. I create.
how does that tie into the mental health piece?
Oh, it ties into mental health, just like I said before. Is that okay? If you come to me, let's take Dr. Linda Day. She just published a book that
Mhm.
I edited for her. So
Mhm.
when it comes to the mental health piece, I had to be aware, okay, she's stressing out right now. She's
Mhm.
very anxious right now. She is getting depressed. Anxiety and depression are two different things. She's not just
Mhm.
sad about this or whatever. And I'm not saying these things, I'm just using this as an example.
Right.
I had to be aware to maneuver her through that
Mhm.
so that we get to the end result, that she has a book now on Amazon.
Mhm.
I had to say, okay, all right, don't put any more pressure on her. Let me take the pressure off you. That comes into play when I am with someone who has a website revamp. And I'm not the one doing the website. I do not do website revamps. Now, I would go in
Don't
and look.
call
No, don't call me for that. That you know what I'm saying? Know where you are. Know where your
Absolutely.
anointing lies, and don't lie about your anointing. So
That's a good one.
don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But if you come to me, there are some things that I'm going to go through in my mind because that is what I do a lot. I'm going to go through
Mhm.
my mind as you're talking to me. If you're already stressed and you're ramped up here, um, It's my job to start speaking to you in a
Mhm.
way that's not condescending. It's my job. Did you see how I
Mhm.
changed my voice? It's my
Mhm.
job to get out of you what I do.
Mhm.
Excuse me, what it is that you need from me.
Right.
Mental health support is a lot of listening, Gwen, as you know, in the medical field.
Mhm.
It's a lot of listening. It's a lot of hearing what they're not physically saying to me.
Right.
So then I can now overlap that with coping skills. Like I've said to
Mhm.
clients in the middle of a team meeting, okay, let's take a moment and breathe. Because I
Mhm.
realize they are over the edge, and then I'm getting anxious, and I'm like,
Right.
oh, okay, well, let's take
Mhm.
a moment and breathe. Take a couple of deep
Mhm.
breaths in. Or I'll say, who can support you in this? This is what I do to support you on this end. Who do you have in your life that can support you, that can sit with you with this? Who
Mhm.
is your cheerleader in this? Another word for support. Another
Absolutely.
word for support. So the
Mhm.
mental health piece, the things I know about diagnoses and mental health conditions, I'm listening for that when I
Mhm.
see signs. Now I don't go in and boom, oh yeah,
Right.
you know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't, you
Looking.
know,
Yeah.
because if you look, you're gonna find it. That's
Right.
you
It's
find
there.
something, it's there. You're gonna find something to fill that what I call the little belief
Absolutely.
basket we carry
Yes.
around.
Yes.
You know, yeah, you're biased. You know,
Mhm.
so what I do is I sit with the client, I listen to what they need with me, and I'll often say what I am gifted to do. Not I'm often I don't often say this. What I recognized that I was gifted to do was to be able to pull out of people what they didn't know was in them.
Mhm.
I'm able to say, okay, you gave me this, but this is what it needs to be. You gave me this here, it needs to be this. Um, you gave me for a client I helped that was having a big event this summer. They gave me some notes. I produced a little
Mhm.
40-page booklet. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Absolutely.
I, I help you work through that. I help
Mhm.
you calm down. I help
Mhm.
you maintain balance, mental health, all
Right.
without actually saying that's what I'm doing.
Right. Mhm.
You know, when I go to do,
Absolutely.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
you're fine. Go ahead.
And
Keep.
does that, I know I keep asking, does it make sense? Because in my head, it makes sense. So it makes perfect sense in my head. But I just want to know that, okay, I see a comment. Okay. All right, Cookie. Hi, Cookie. Hi, my sister Teresa's here too. Hi,
That's
Teresa.
good.
Thank you for joining us,
That's
ladies.
just
Thank
to
you
see
so
you
much.
said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's the counsel in you that you have to
Okay,
make sure
okay.
that you have
All
to
right.
make sure that people are comprehending. You
That's
don't
it.
want to just be talking and saying things without making sure that they're catching what you're saying. It's okay.
Absolutely.
I get it. I get it. It's no bother. Let's back up a little bit and talk about your eCPR. As a nurse, that hit my eye. You know, the eCPR. So let's talk about that and what that actually means and how it was established.
eCPR, a man by the name of Dan Fisher, and I cannot remember the other gentleman who helped him. They actually created this. It's emotional CPR. C
Mhm.
stands for connecting. The E stands for, excuse me, the P stands for empowering. We already had the E, so we can use that again. And then revitalizing. And what eCPR does, which is different from other types of support, is that we sit with you in your pain. Often,
Mhm.
if you come as a peer recovery specialist, my job is to not only reach back and help you, but my job, as an example, is to say, okay, Gwen, there is a hole over there. You see the
Mhm.
hole? And you say, oh, yeah, I see it. And I'm
Mhm.
watching you get closer and closer to the hole.
Right.
Oh, you're in the hole.
Mhm.
I don't say a word. I just say,
Mhm.
well, I don't say anything about that. I say, Gwen, you think we want to take a different route tomorrow? Because I know you saw the hole, but I don't give you advice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do not
Wow.
give you advice about that. What my
Mhm.
role is as a peer recovery specialist is to help you tap into your own expert advice that lives within you.
Mhm.
eCPR is similar, except that I literally sit with you in your pain. I
Mhm.
allow myself to, and this is how I use it. I allow the Spirit of God within me to sit with you, to direct me. Okay, the pain is actually here. They're
Mhm.
speaking here. Perhaps they're talking about the dog ran after the cat, and then they had to go to find the cat, and then
Mhm.
the cat ran after the bird. But they're actually speaking grief and
Mhm.
sadness. So
Mhm.
I get to sit with you and I get to feel that with you. A lot of times, those who live with mental health conditions just want to be heard. And that,
Mhm.
if we go deeper in emotional CPR, is that we connect with you on an emotional level. We connect with you in ways that I just, like people say this term kids used to use, I don't know if they still use it or not, Do you feel
Mhm.
me? You feel me?
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Well, in eCPR, we feel you. We feel you.
Right.
we
Right.
we we have the beauty and the privilege of sitting with you in emotional crisis. Now
Mhm.
that does not mean, I am a mandated reporter. As a peer recovery specialist, I am a mandated reporter. There are some things that I hear, I got to report. If I hear that you want to harm yourself or others, I got to report it. As a clergywoman, I got to report it, and I will tell you that if you're coming to me for support, before we start, I have to divulge that. With eCPR, I am choosing to do the same thing, but I'm not doing anything but sitting with you in your pain. And it,
Mhm.
it sounds simple, but when you have to do it, I'm actually listening to you. I'm not formulating an answer. Even if you tell me you are suicidal, you are sitting with me right now. So as long
Mhm.
as you're talking, you are still here. So I
Right.
can work through that with you. And I just
Mhm.
absorb that and just think, okay, all right, Gwen, I'm just going to use this as an example,
Mhm.
said she's suicidal. What is Gwen saying right now? I don't go to, oh, I need to call 988. And by the way, if you, let me put a little shameless plug in for 988,
Mhm.
if you or someone you know are in a mental health crisis, please dial 988 and not 911. Dial
Mhm.
988. It is the suicide and crisis hotline. It is all over the country, wherever you are. It is available 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. So please do that. But I don't sit there and think I need to dial 988. I continue to listen to you. Like, okay, Gwen said she was suicidal. Let me see where the pain really is. And then I will start asking some pointed questions that's
Mhm.
going to get me. I call it drilling down. I'm going to drill
Mhm.
down because I need to get to the foundation of where this is and what my next step needs to be. Then I'll step back, not literally, but figuratively. I'll step
Right.
back, take a breather, and say, okay, these are the next steps. I'm always going to make sure you are in the driver's seat, because you,
Mhm.
whomever you may be, you are the expert of yourself. So that is
Mhm.
eCPR. We are
Okay.
emotionally connecting, empowering, and
Mhm.
revitalizing people. We want to bring them through that whole process. Okay, you're in your emotions right now. I need to connect with you. And then I need to let you know that I'm going to sit with you to empower you to not only
Mhm.
feel those feelings, but to also work through those feelings. And then we're going to make a plan of action, the revitalizing part.
Mm. This was so good. This was so good. So we're out of time, but I want to add one question. And the question pretty much talks about, even as you started talking about the lived experience,
Mm-hmm.
and um, many people talk about living with, or
Mm-hmm.
living with depression, living with whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a time when you say, I'm no longer living with this, or is it always going to be there?
I think some people view it in different ways. For me, because I believe in the power of God, so
Hmm.
that you can recover. And recovery looks different. Recovery is also not linear. Recovery
Mm,
looks like this,
right, right,
all
right.
over the place. I'm up one day, I'm down one day, I'm flat one day, whatever. It is not
Hmm.
a linear process. And for me, recovery, recovering from living with depression. I still have days that I am actually depressed. I'm not just sad, but I'm actually
Hmm.
depressed. And I have to fight to get up to do what I need to do. I
Hmm.
still have days where I can feel my anxiety. I hold my anxiety, excuse me, cancel. I hold anxiety here. And I didn't
Mhm.
know that because I didn't even know what it was. So once I
Right.
learned to do that, then I immediately learned to release it. Like sometimes
Mhm.
I have to use scripture to release
Mhm.
it. Like I have to remind myself, I'm not alone in this. I'm not
Right.
alone. As
Mhm.
far as is it ever over? You may or may not, depending on what you believe, how
Mhm.
you have traveled on your mental health. We call it mental health recovery journey. So I don't
Mhm.
go into a meeting saying, I'm a depressive. Mm,
Mm.
no, my name is Tara. That's
Right.
that's that's what my mama named me. And I do
Absolutely.
say, you know, because I currently live with depression. Those are active
Mhm.
diagnoses for me. But I
Mhm.
try very hard not to say my depression, my anxiety. You heard me cancel that out. I'm like, oh God, I didn't mean
Mhm.
that. No, that was a
Right.
mistake. Now, I'm very careful to say that. And I do use the phrase, I live with depression.
Mhm.
And then there are days that, like one of my diagnoses I no longer live with. you know
Mhm.
I haven't been hospitalized for many years, and I know I'm not suicidal, nor do I have suicide ideation. So it's important to me to let people know that recovery is a journey, and I don't know what it's going to. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what it's going to look like for you. I don't care how spiritual you are. I don't care how saved you are. I don't care
Right.
if you're the pope, if you're the bishop um, of the first degree, if you're the head of the first church of the last minute.
I know
It
that's right.
doesn't matter. Mental health illness does not discriminate due to your social
Absolutely.
economic status. So I don't know what your journey is going to look like. So I really, for me, it is a journey. It is. I don't know if I will live with depression next week, next month, or tomorrow. I don't know. And I like being honest and saying that with people, because you may get up tomorrow with or
Mhm.
without medication and be just
Mhm.
fine. Because I
Mhm.
personally do believe in the power of healing. I personally believe that God can do whatever He wants to do, whenever He wants to do, however He wants to do it. He
Right.
is God. I believe that. So I ask Him, is today the day? And I also know that I have been informed that, all right, your story is not
Yeah.
for you. Your experience
Absolutely.
is not for you.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, God,
Mhm.
all right. And I can tell you my story without ever telling you my business. If I go
Right.
to debtors and gamblers anonymous, you
Mhm.
don't know, let's say debtors anonymous, you don't know how I lost my money and got in debt. You don't know whether I sexed it out, drugged it out, drank it out, threw it up in
Mhm.
the sky and say
You just
everybody
know it
get it.
wasn't gone.
Yeah, what I'm saying, it's just gone. It's just gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
How it's gone is my business. My
Mhm.
story is that I'm a part of Debtors Anonymous. That's as an
Mhm.
example. So I hope that helped. And I hope that everybody
Yeah.
listening, I hope that you found some value in
Mm.
what we shared tonight.
Yes.
And thank you,
Yes.
Gwen, for allowing me to be
No
a guest.
problem. Helen sent her thanks for being so transparent with us
Oh,
on
you're
tonight.
welcome, Helen.
Yeah,
You're
I
welcome.
asked that question because it's we always say in the Christian world, the church world, that the words of our mouth we live, that brings life and all that. But it also tells us that we need to be truthful, you
Yeah,
know. And a lot of people, like you said, and we said in the beginning, sometimes we hide everything. We don't want to be truthful, not only to others, but even to ourselves. And then you can't really get the healing that you need. You can't really get the strength that you need, even from others, whatever. But
hmm
also, I was thinking while you were speaking,
hmm
I think, like you said, recovery does look different for everybody, but recovery can mean a lot of different things as well, because you can be recovered um, in the fact that even when those hard times come, because they will come,
absolutely.
especially in this day and time. That's what we say in uncertain times.
Right.
Our subject. Let me put that back up there. Taking control of your mental health and wellness in uncertain times. It is so easy. And I was talking to someone last night, and I was saying, even even as I was dealing with my own personal situations over the last few months, the enemy is going to come and he's going to talk to you. He's going to
Come
try to
on.
get you to, his job is to steal, kill, and destroy.
Come on.
So
Come on.
it's going to come. Now, the difference is going to be how you react to it when it comes. The difference is
Absolutely.
going to be how you can overcome it. Are you going to, recovery could be that now when you feel these things, you no longer give into it. You no
Absolutely.
longer pull the shades, turn off the lights, pull the cover over your heads, but
That
now
part.
you understand how to work through these times and these
Absolutely.
situations. And
Absolutely.
and I will say, I've never been clinically diagnosed with depression, but
Hmm.
I know that I've experienced depression on many levels at many times as well. And
Hmm.
it wasn't just that long ago with sitting at the light and the enemy just say to me, just drive out in the middle of the traffic.
Come on.
But
Come on.
here's where you have your moment of recovery.
Right.
When you
Right.
say, no, just no.
Right. Right.
I have too much to live for. And you begin to speak to yourself, as the song says, speak
Absolutely.
over yourself, encourage yourself in the
Yes.
Lord. There's
Yes.
so many different things that we encounter and that takes over us because we allow it to. But
Absolutely. It is.
how
Yes.
can you walk through this not giving in to the moment, not giving in to the pressure? And
That it
so,
is
yeah.
so important to do that, Gwen. It is.
Mhm.
It really is that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna give you a round of applause. A round
Around.
of
I like the round. I like the round. Go ahead.
yeah. And I love humor. I love keeping things
Yes,
light. My
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. But
Absolutely.
thank you. Thank you so
Yes,
much
yes,
for
yes.
allowing me to be on here.
I I love it. I love everything that you've said. I love it all. I love it all.
Hmm.
I just want to make sure that everyone, is understanding what you're actually saying on today. And I think we've
Yeah,
gotten very good. I think everyone is very excited about about what you're saying on tonight. So let me ask you
good.
this.
Yes.
What's next for you first? Let's talk about that. What's next for you?
What's next for me? I am actually writing a devotional. Um, God has really been sitting on me. I was supposed to have a book out by now. And,
Mm,
I shared with you backstage that I was supposed to do
yes,
this website. I paid somebody for the website. It didn't get
right.
done. And literally,
Mhm,
I was at visiting someone's house with my roommate, one of her family members' house. And they were like, "You've been working since 4:30." It was like 10:30 at night. I said, "God, I can't, no, I got to get this done." So what's next
mhm,
for me is actually publishing this devotional, and it's going to be a guided devotional. And what do I mean by
mm,
that? There will be spaces in there where you will,
absolutely.
click a link or select a barcode, depending on how you get it. Um,
Mhm,
you will be able to get even deeper resources. You will hear me taking you
nice.
through guided meditations. You will hear
Mm,
some personal stories, mine or others. You appear. So it's not just a journal. It's not
that's
just a
awesome.
devotional. It's going to be something new and something different that I
Oh,
actually found.
let me
Yeah,
give you that round of applause.
I love it. I love it.
I
I
like
love it.
that. I love it. It sounds
Yes.
so. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah,
So,
it's going
uh,
to be out. But what people can connect with me on my page on Facebook, it's at Talks with Tara C. Facebook,
okay.
it's at Talks with Tara
I
C.
think I have some of
Or
your information here. There
okay,
you go.
all right.
Mhm.
And then
It's
if
a
you
lot
want to,
there, but you got to break it down.
and then if you want to be added to my mailing list to know when events come up, to know when the devotional is coming out. And also, I have a free gift for you if you do sign up for the mailing list. And it's called the 12 Gifts to help maintain your mental wellness during the holidays or at any time. And the reason I say during the holidays, because we as women, we
Right.
tend to have this idyllic version of what the holidays should look like. And so I
Mhm.
offer you 12 gifts
Mm.
in that. And it's not just 12, it is 12 specific steps that the Lord some of them are general knowledge and some of them that the Lord downloaded to me specifically. And I also include a journal a mini journal in that, and I also give you some steps to move forward on your journey, as well as some other things. So once you join the mailing list, you will get that immediately within maybe 24 hours, I think. Well, that's not immediate, but y'all know what I'm saying. You click it and then do it. And then behind that, you're going to get other emails as well that's going to keep you involved. But yeah, you can reach me there. You can reach me by email. The information that Gwen put up on the screen before at talkswithtarac@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. I think I
Yeah.
said
And I'm also going to be having a challenge that I was supposed to do, didn't do it. And so God was like, no, I'm not playing with you. So, and
yes,
it's
I
going to be
understand.
about rebuilding your mindset, not shifting, but rebuilding your mindset. So, um,
Awesome. So
yeah.
you have a
So,
whole community there.
yes, I
Nice.
do. I have a Facebook community that I invite you to join for more support and
Mhm.
more information.
Awesome, awesome. And we'll add this information to the chat as well.
Thank you.
So this must be one of your relatives.
That's my sister. That's my sister, Terry. Hey,
I thought
Terry.
thank you so much for joining us on tonight. And listen, you've really given us some great inspiration even for the week and for the month and for the rest of the year, for the rest of our lives. So I'm looking forward to joining the mailing list and getting more info. And I can't wait for that guided devotion to come out. It's so interesting. I'm working on a guide myself, but it won't be as interactive as yours. I love that. But it is going to be a great, I think it's going to be something great for specifically for visionaries and entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
So, just keep a watch out. I'll be making some announcements
I
soon. But
will.
I am so excited that you have really joined us on tonight.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you. I know I put this comment up before, but I didn't say thank you so much for joining us, Miss Brenda.
Thank you,
We
First Lady.
appreciate. Oh, that's your first lady. All right
No,
now.
she is a first lady.
Oh, she is
I
the first
spoke at
lady.
one of
Okay.
her. She just had a conference, and I spoke at one of
Awesome.
her conferences, and she's been so supportive. First Lady Brenda
Awesome.
Taylor, she's so supportive.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, we really appreciate you being here on tonight. I know you've had a busy evening, and so we're looking forward to connecting with you. We're looking forward to
Yeah.
hearing some more from you, and I pray that God's blessing will overtake you. I pray that even in
Thank
the midst of your helping everyone else, that He will continue to help you. He is our help. And no
you. Yes,
matter
it
what we're going through, we all have to recognize that He is our help. And so we thank God for each and every one of you on tonight. And make sure that you come back next week. We've got another great guest. So once again, thank you so much for joining me. I
is.
appreciate it. Bye
Okay.
bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this little thing here, it just likes to come and pop up on me. But listen, I am elated on tonight. And I want to tell you this week, you want to share out this week's show. You want to share out, go back and listen to last week's show, the two shows together specifically. If you need some encouragement, I promise you, all you have to do is take a little time and listen to both of these shows again, and you will be encouraged. You will be encouraged, and God will strengthen you. So, again, I will be back on next Monday evening with another fabulous guest. And I want you to make sure that you join me there. Thank you again to each and every person. Those that are new, make sure that you sign up for notifications so that you don't miss any of our shows. You're welcome to sign up here at Facebook or on YouTube. There are so many ways that you can join us. We're also on LinkedIn. I don't know if you knew about that, but yes, we're also on LinkedIn at Gwen Finley. All you have to do is look for me, look for my name, and join me on LinkedIn if you're that businesswoman that likes to be in the business space. All right. Thank you again. Have a my voice is going. That means it's time to go. Have a wonderful night, everybody, and get yourself some good rest. Good night.